Hey everyone, welcome to Rich on Superbowl 55. Yeah. Before we get into it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so you get updated when I upload something new. Follow me on Twitch, M_Rich58. Yes. So on to last night's events, Super Bowl 55. One of the best showings that we've seen from a team. Period. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champions. That means Tom Brady got his seventh ring. Who could have predicted that? Who would have seen that come? Oh, wait, I did. I did. If you saw the preview, I did. I did that. I did that. Yes, I did. So yeah, I predicted that the Buccaneers were going to beat the Chiefs in a very tight game, very close. Expected it to be a shootout, but the Buccaneers actually proved me wrong. Buccaneers scored 31 points, while the Chiefs well, they were held to 9 points, three field goals. Um, Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes did everything that he could to win this game, but unfortunately his offensive line just couldn't hold up. His offensive line, he had three offensive line players out of the game, inactive, weren't able to play. So that was a very big target that the Buccaneers went up against, and they destroyed that O line. To be honest, he was sacked twice. He was pressured multiple times, throwing the passes, falling down to the ground, throwing passes backwards. He did everything possible to try and get it going, but unfortunately, the Bucks defense were on a different planet to the Chiefs, and they controlled every single thing that was going on. Um, in stats, everything was everything was there. Everything was there to make the game interesting, but obviously, what really counted was the touchdowns, and the Chiefs just couldn't get it together. The offensive line, the tackles just couldn't hold up the DNs and the outside linebackers. It was just impossible for Patrick Mahomes to get comfortable in the pocket. Even running around, he was uncomfortable. There was one point where he ran back 30 yards, 20 yards, and he just had to launch the ball into no man's land. Um, so yeah, again, the game finished 31-9 to the Buccaneers. That means Tom Brady got his seventh championship ring. Tom Brady has more championships than 32 teams in the NFL. That he let me repeat that. He has seven rings, seven championships, and that's the most in the NFL that any player has ever gotten. Um, Bear in mind, he got the Patriots all six, and he got one for the Buccaneers, who haven't been in the Super Bowl since 2002 when they last won it. Uh, and he's coming back next year. So we're in for more spectacular moments that Tom Brady is going to be able to give to us. Comparing to stats, the Chiefs passing to running to turnovers to red zone attempts and to possession. The Chiefs had 243, the Buccaneers had 195. The rushing yards, the Chiefs had 107, Buccaneers had 145. Red zone attempts, the Chiefs had 0 out of 3. They just couldn't do anything productive in the red zone. But the Buccaneers were able to. They had 3 out of 5. They scored when it mattered, and they did everything that was possible to make sure that they won this championship. Um, Turnovers, Chiefs had two interceptions, the Buccaneers had zero. And time of possession, the Chiefs had 28 minutes, with the Bucks had 31 minutes. Um, Also, just to say that why it was history making is that the Buccaneers were the first ever team to play the Super Bowl in their home ground, and they won it. So if any team that gets into the Super Bowl in their home ground, they have to win it. The Buccaneers have set a standard now that you have to win the game. Tom Brady has set a standard, period, for all quarterbacks that want to play in the league, that you need to look after yourself, be prepared, and just be savage. Tom Brady was just absolutely a murderer last night. I know him and Tyrann Matthew had a bit of argument in the beginning of the game, and from what we heard is that Tom Brady was just targeting Tyrann Matthew and did everything that he could to make sure that he could show Tyrann Matthew that he couldn't do whatever he wanted. That Tom Brady was in control of that game all the way, which he was. Um, Now onto individual player stats. Patrick Mahomes, he had 29 completions out of 49 attempts. Um, that's sort of average for him, but again, he had 270 yards on that. Bear in mind, I said 270 yards, but yet they had 24. They had 243 passing yards, which is a lot there. And he had two interceptions. Tom Brady, on the other hand, was nearly perfect. He had 21 completions out of 29 attempts for 201 yards with three touchdowns. Yeah, Tom Brady did Tom Brady, and Tom Brady did Tom Brady stuff. He was dominant, he was effective, and he controlled the game the way that he wanted to control it. He knew when to run, he knew when to pass, and the play calling by the offensive coordinators and the defensive coordinators were absolutely amazing that game. Um, Everyone was in shock, everyone was in awe that the Chiefs weren't able to do anything better. But no one was really surprised that Tom Brady was able to do exactly what he was doing. There was a meme going around recently that if you play Tom Brady, there's a curse. You get to the you win your first Super Bowl against Tom Brady. Then the next year, no, you get to this AFC Championship. Then you get to the Super Bowl, you win the Super Bowl, and then in your third year, you play Tom Brady and you lose. That's happened twice. Once with Russell Wilson, and it's happened last night with Patrick Mahomes. Um, Tom Brady is just the guy that everyone needs to emulate. He is a monster on that field, and we all know it. As a Russian, Cedric Allaire, he had 9 carries for 64 yards, no touchdowns. He had a good game in this. He had a good start in the second half. First half they shut him down. He had a good start in the second half once again, um, and they should have kept feeding that ball. I know they needed to score, so they were passing it a lot more, but it was it was kind of a bit too late that they just weren't able to keep moving. Leonard Fournette had 16 carries for 89 yards and one touchdown. His touchdown run was absolutely one amazing run. Bounced off of defenders and just bulleted into the end zone. Um, yeah, and he performed very well as well. Him and Jones were two effective 1-2 backs. We It was very exciting to see that type of plays once again, and the Buccaneers are going to be very interesting how they're going to do next season. For receiving yards, Travis Kelce had 10 receptions for 133 yards. Gronkowski had 6 receptions for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, Along with that, Gronkowski and Brady have broken the postseason record, beating Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. They now stand at 14 touchdowns in the postseason, which is a new record. And I'm not sure if that's going to get beaten because I believe that they will do it again next year. On the defensive side, the two main defenders on the Chiefs, the one main defender on the Chiefs was Damian Wilson. He had 6 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 6 tackles in total. Devin White, he also had 12 tackles in total. He had eight solo tackles, 2 tackles for losses, and he had 1 interception to end the game and to cement the Buccaneers into winning this Super Bowl. Um, yeah, it was just an amazing game. There was a lot of people that were upset. Everyone expected the Chiefs to be there fighting, being able to actually keep up with Tom Brady, but that wasn't the case. So again, it was sort of a uphill climb for the Chiefs. Once you knew that both of the tackles were gone, we knew that something wasn't going to go right. It wasn't as predictable as everyone seemed it was going to be, but you could tell that from the first play that the Chiefs had, that Patrick Mahomes almost got sacked by JJP. He had to throw it away. We knew that it was going to be a very interesting night. We knew that the Chiefs were a comeback team, but from once it went up to 28-6 in the first half, 28-6 in the first half, we knew that the game was over. Antonio Brown got a touchdown. Like the guy that was traded from the Steelers because of issues, then went to the Raiders, got dropped by the Raiders, went to the Patriots, got dropped by the Patriots because of attitude and problems, and then got signed with the Bucks. What, week 8, 13, 14? Um, Obviously, who would have expected that he would be a Super Bowl champion this year? No one. The whole squad has been amazing. It has been a great NFL season, and now it's time for free agency, which is going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed to see how everything goes. Um, Once again, whoever saw the Bucks winning this championship? No one. Everyone expected Tom Brady to win the seventh. So it seems everyone expected him to win it. Um, but that's how the cookie crumbled. And the 42-year-old is actually back next year. He's definitely coming for number 8. If he does number 8, it's over. No one can ever talk bad about Tom Brady. He is one of the greatest athletes in. Well, he is going to be claimed as one of the greatest athletes, as he has done one of the most impossible things in the NFL that no one has ever seen, no one ever expected, and it's just been amazing to watch someone play. He's like the Ronaldo and Messi of the American Football League. He's just outstanding, and it's going to be a sad thing to see him retire when he does come to it. But he wants to play till he's 45, so I'm here all for it. I'm just enjoying it. I would have loved it if he had gone to the Colts, but we'll leave that for another time. Um, but yeah, that was an amazing Super Bowl. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna skip past the halftime show. I wasn't enjoying it. I don't think anyone enjoyed it. It was sort of lackluster. It wasn't great, and let's all agree the Weeknd's face looks really weird. But yeah, so that was the Super Bowl. Obviously, the score again was the Buccaneers 31 to the Chiefs 9. Um, Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great game. He is going to actually have surgery now on his toe, so it's going to be yeah. So his off season is going to be interesting. We have the combine coming. We have the combine coming up at the end of February, going into March. Then we have the draft that starts on the 29th of April, going into May 4th, May 4th, I believe. And then it is the build up to the summer preseason. Hopefully COVID would have died down by then, so we'll be able to actually see preseason game. Actually, players will actually there won't be so many injuries this year, because there was a lot of injuries. We all saw it, and there was a lot of changing with games depending on COVID. So hopefully this year it will be all gone together, and that we'll be able to have fun. But once again, Tom Brady has won his 7th championship. He is the greatest of all time. He is the GOAT. No one can argue with it. And it was, if you enjoyed the Super Bowl, hey, that's football, and we loved it all. Um, but yeah, thank you again for jumping into the stream last night. This review has been very quick, very easy, very simple to see that one of the greatest players in the world, Tom Brady, is a Super Bowl champion once again. Patrick Mahomes will come back next year with a lot of the Chiefs will be back next year. The Chiefs will be the team to beat in the AFC. Ravens, not too sure. But next year we have a potential chance that we could see the same matchup. Maybe it will be interesting if they are playing again next year and see how that goes on. But once again, thank you all for joining in. Buccaneers are 2-time champions. The last time they won it was 2002. Tom Brady is a 7-time champion. Who knew? And it's amazing to see. So what a time we live in. But yes, thank you all. Bye.